Hello friends, how are you all? My name is Harshit Divedi and again welcome you back to my video. This topic I will be taking up with you friends. This is Tebhaga Peasant movement of 1946-47. This is presented by me Harshit Divedi to you friends. This video, the Hindi version of the video, I have already uploaded on my channel friends. So if you are not comfortable in English, you can go, there is a link in the description box below. You can go to the Hindi version and watch the Hindi version there. So I'll be talking about this. This is basically a movement which was in the North Bengal region. It was basically in the Bengal region, but it was mainly prominent in the North Bengal region. Now, what is Tebaga? It simply denotes, this word simply denotes one third part. So this simply meant one third part of a produce. That is total quantity divided by 3. This movement was basically against high land revenue and taxes paid by the peasants and sharecroppers of the Bengal region. So the peasants, farmers, agriculturalists and sharecroppers of the Bengal region used to pay taxes. But the taxes being paid by them was very, very high to the jotedars. So that high taxes were to be reduced to a lower level. So this was a movement against that only. Now, first of all, we just need to know what is the concept of jotedars, because here the involvement of jotedars was there, not of zamindars. So these jotedars were actually peasants, friends, but they were a class of rich peasants. They were not poor peasants, okay? And actually, they were also not zamindars. That was a class between the land, tillers, that is the farmers, and the zamindars. So they were a middle level. These jotedars. These jotedars had huge, tracts of land. They controlled the local markets. They were involved in money lending activities. They exercised control over poor cultivators. So basically, they were the zamindars in the villages, because at that point of time, zamindars were very rich. They belonged to the elite class, privileged class. So the zamindars used to live in urban areas, because urban areas had big facilities. Okay, but in the villages, these jotedars exercised much more control over the rural areas, the rural farmers. The sharecroppers, the farmers, the peasants, the agriculturists at the ground level, they used to work under the jotedars. These sharecroppers and farmers were also known as bhagadars. Bhagadars, bhagadars. Okay. Now these bhagadars used to pay one half of the produce of the land to the jotedars. Jotedars owned the land. Okay. These bhagadars used to work under jotedars. Whatever harvest was there, 50% of that harvest was taken by the jotedars, and the rest remained with the sharecroppers. So this was the prevalent practice. These jotedars had many other names like hauladars, gantidars, mandals. So these were their names. And these jotedars were present all over Bengal, friends. However, the highest concentration of these jotedars was in the North Bengal area. Now, what was this Tebhaga movement related to, friends? Tebhaga means one third. This means that at that point of time, the percentage of tax that was being taken by the jotedars was 50%, because half of the produce was taken away by the jotedars from the peasants. So this movement said that this tax of 50% should be reduced to 33.33%, that is one third. This was basically the Tebhaga movement, the demand of the Tebhaga movement. Also, this movement was initiated by All India Kisan Sabha. Kisan Sabha was the official handle of this movement, and this Kisan Sabha was politically affiliated with the Communist Party of India. Communist Party of India was also very much involved during the independence struggle. However, it was not directly involved for the independence struggle, but it was actually politically very much involved. Okay, and the importance of Communist Party of India, grew after the independence. For this I have already made a separate video. Go to the video and watch it, the Communist Party of India video. Search it on my YouTube channel, you will get it. Okay. Now, when this movement was happening, this movement was actually not a non-violent movement, friends. Whatever movement Gandhiji led, it was a non-violent movement. But this thing was not led by International Congress or Gandhiji. So obviously, when this agitation started, repression followed. The goons of the jotedars, the local police stations, they were all combined against the peasants. So as soon as they attacked the peasants reverted back, and these agitations turned violent. And when these agitations turned violent, the landlords and the jotedars fled the village areas and they fled the countryside. And when they fled the countryside and the village areas, obviously the land in the villages came under the control of these Kisan Sabha. Okay. Then in 1946, these sharecroppers began to demand something. They said, the first thing they said is that we will not pay 50% of the tax. We will pay only 33.33%. That is, we will pay one third of the harvest as tax. This was the first thing. Then these, under the Tebhaga movement, the peasants and the sharecroppers and the Bhagadars said that whatever produce is coming after the harvest, that will not be kept in the godowns of the jotedars. Okay, first it will be kept in the godowns of the bhagadar only. What happened previously, friends, that whatever was produced, that harvest went to the godowns of the jotedar, and then jotedar gave 50% to the peasants. Now they said that first the harvest will be done, it will go to the place of the sharecropper or the bhagadar, and from there 33.33% will be paid to the jotedar. So this demand also came forward. Now, when these demands were being made by the peasants involved in this movement, obviously they would be having some amount of support in the background. That support was provided by this Bengal Land Revenue Commission, which was also known as Flood Commission. It said that yes, whatever sharecroppers are demanding, it is correct. This also boosted and inspired the sharecroppers. Then also regular clashes between jotedars and bhagadars was there, in which bhagadars were many times successful in driving away the jotedars from their traditional hold. Also, this was happening in Bengal. So in Bengal, the Muslim League Ministry was there. So Muslim League Ministry launched the Bargardari Act, and in the Bargardari Act, the Muslim League Ministry said that the share of these landlords here means jotedars. So the share of the jotedars will be maximum limited to 1/3 only. That is, jotedars cannot take away more than 33.33% of the produce. This also boosted the spirits of these peasants. Then, friends, in January 1947, this Bengal Bargardas Temporary Regulation Bill came, and it included the demand of the sharecropper. This was the bill which was brought in to officially and lawfully reduce the tax from half to 1/3. Okay. This bill also increased the participation level in the Tebhaga movement in the rural areas, because this bill will make it a law. That is, the official tax will be 33.33% of the produce and not 50%. Okay. Now, government repressive measures followed after some times. The 2 months later, in March 1947, the movement started fading as government made many promises to reform the law. So, lot of promises were being made by the government to reform the law. So the movement started fading. But actually, this bill was implemented and passed only in 1950. Around 2.5-3 years after India already got its independence. This means that it was introduced in January 1947 only, but something happened that this bill actually passed and got implemented in around 1950, 2.5 or 3 years after independence. So this was basically Tebhaga movement, friends. It was successful, but it was successful after a certain time lag. It also has its own importance, especially in the Bengal region. So this one few important things that you need to know is that Tebhaga movement is related to the North Bengal region. It is related to Jotedars, which was a level between the Zamindars and the sharecroppers. And the main objective of this movement was to reduce the land tax from 50% to 33.33%. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If this video was really helpful for you, friends, kindly subscribe to me. Subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a like, friends, and as far as possible promote this more and more this video with your friends who are preparing for similar type of examinations on your social media handles like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, friends. I will be very much thankful to you if you are going to do this for me. So thank you for watching, friends. Have a good day. Goodbye. And I'm waiting for your comments and reviews.